Welcome back to Mission Control, a podcast where I typically interview executive directors and nonprofit leaders, but we're turning the camera, or as you will, we're turning the story inside to my own company, UnoDeuce Multimedia, as we celebrate 25 years in business this year. And going into that, just thinking about the last 25 years, you always think about help. And one of the first things that I did when I moved to Lansing was establish an internship program. And since then, it's remained strong. But for our guest today is one of our very first interns. In fact, probably the first of the regular crop of interns that we've had since 2012. I believe it was 2012, but we will find out for a fact whether or not I'm right if it was 2011, 2012, as I bring on one of our first interns, Alyssa Sattler. Alyssa, thank you for joining us on the podcast. We really appreciate it. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Paul.
Oh, so tell me a little bit about what you're doing now.
Yeah, so I am a lead media product marketing consultant at Kroger Precision Marketing. I help support our media product launches and seasonal marketing campaigns, getting our messaging out to our clients. So it's a really exciting role. I worked across agencies, CPGs, and the shopper marketing space. And now I'm on the retail ad tech side of things. And it's really exciting and got my start in digital marketing at UnoDeuce. So it's really exciting to come full circle.
Well, let's take that clock back a little bit, like back a few years. Now, were you an intern in 2011 or 2012?
I think it's 2012, and then stayed on and transformed my role into marketing manager and stayed on until I graduated from Michigan State. I was just mentioning to you before this, I had my one-on-one with my manager this morning and talked to him about how you even help support video content for my capstone course at Michigan State, which I won with your help out of the group project. So, and now even working on some video content today with some work I'm working on. So it's really exciting, and I learned so much, and you trusted in me so much as a 21, 22-year-old, and learn how to be scrappy and the passion and excitement of the start of digital and social during that time. And I see that so much today, too, in terms of the world of digital marketing right now with the boom of AI and so much of the media landscape changing. So I kind of feel that same excitement and transformation going on right now. At the same turn of when I was working at UnoDeuce. And I think both of us had that same excitement and passion for all the new tools going on and what we could do with it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't even remember your capstone project. That was...
it offends me.
No, it's just, I mean, I know that, I do remember, now that you mentioned it, I do remember taking apart, but I don't remember what the whole...
I'm honestly trying to remember too. I think it was for some internal department within Michigan government. They were learning some new technology, which honestly feels so familiar to my role now in terms of working in ad tech and a very tech heavy role. And I think we had to pitch some campaign of how they were able to learn it within their department. And we were competing against other teams within my capstone class. So your video helped push us over the edge. So
nice. Well, how did you hear, if you can remember? I mean, I was 13, 14 years ago.
Don't age me, Paul.
Hey, if I have to age myself, then I'm getting everybody in. But how did our company become one that you landed on looking at for an internship?
I think it could have been an internal posting within probably Michigan State job boards, if I recall.
Hmm.
That probably sounds right to me. Because I remember my first internship was studying abroad in Australia. If you remember that, I was working
Yeah.
for um, a they did a lot of media buying, but it was a mix between kind of traditional print. There was some digital, and but my passion was really in digital marketing, as I was mentioning, is the boom of social media, so many new tools at the time, and that's where I was really interested in going as a career path. And I wanted to get more experience and another internship under my belt, and you know you were kind enough to give me a lot of free reign. So
Yeah. Well, so what do you remember about when you arrived? What was like your first impression?
I remember how passionate and open you were in terms of trying new things. You put a lot of trust in me. I remember all the different tools and systems you introduced to me. I remember doing Hootsuite. I'm trying to remember. There was another tool that we used a lot too. I remember working on SEO for our website and getting our page ranking up, posting in WordPress, working on social, meeting a lot of the clients too you were working with who were even generous enough to help share their knowledge of how they were working on amplifying their business and the tools that they used. And I remember that was really helpful for me too. So not only, you know, were they helpful just as clients and networking to you, but were kind enough to kind of help boost my skills too as I was learning, which was really beneficial to me.
Yeah, that was interesting. I'll never forget when you started and I was listing off the tools we were using, and you're like, I have no idea
Yep.
what you're talking about. And I was like, didn't you have a social media class? What? I mean, because what I was using was not like something new at all. It was something that was told to me to possibly integrate. So it was kind of an interesting situation. I was like, well, guess what you get to learn. So, and you really took right to it. I'll tell you, because man, you really made it your own. You started creating that brand voice that I may have inadvertently helped, but you really took that to the online space that we actually continue to this day because it was really nice. What was like one of your favorite moments during the internship?
Oh, wow.
I know it was a
I
while
think
ago, so
probably I really loved being on the cooking with Kathy. That's that was always so much fun. I loved shooting the content, posting about it. That was always so much fun of being a 21, 22-year old pretending to be, someone my parents' age and an Italian chef and driving down to, Metro Detroit area with you and shooting content on my iPhone 4. And that was back in the day where you could use your personal account and then also post on behalf of another account, not even have to have a separate Instagram account and doing the pick stitch grids. I still have cooking with Kathy content on my own personal Instagram account because that's just how it was back in the day. But that was always so much fun. I feel like I had such a good diverse experience and that just instantly, picked up that scrappy mentality and being hungry for learning something new. And I think that just instantly translated right when I got into corporate America and on the agency side. And it's interesting that you even talk about, kind of translating brand voice because that's something I do so much today. At Program Precision Marketing, part of my role is really owning our brand voice and instilling confidence and trust in our clients, talking about our products, and sharing how to use it, thinking of different use cases. And that's honestly so much of what I did too at UnoDeuce, and driving proof points, why you should use our products and tools, and backing it up with proof points. And it's a really exciting role to use content and be the owner of that brand voice.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting, because not only, because like you kind of alluded to it, but one of the things that you did was you had the UnoDeuce brand voice, but then you also had to do the Cooking with Kathy's brand voice. So at some point in the month, you had to re-switch your mind over to, like you mentioned, a middle-aged chef.
Yes.
Or cook. Because she always said she wasn't a chef, she was a cook. But no, that was because you also were the one that was instrumental in developing Cooking with Kathy's Facebook, creating her Instagram account. But not only that, but growing the YouTube channel. That's the other thing is, YouTube is such a different beast when it comes to the social media realm. How did you move into that? What was your, I never really asked you this before, obviously, but it's like, what was your thought process in looking at that? Because YouTube was such a strong channel for Kathy, not as much for UnoDeuce at that point, because we used it just really to house videos of our clients. But for Kathy, it was actually a very crucial tool. So talk a little bit about how you dove into YouTube, as that aspect was kind of, I don't want to say super new, but fairly new when it came to digital marketing.
Yeah, from what I can remember with Cooking with Kathy, I remember just she had a really engaged following. They loved her content. It was a very different audience in terms of, talking about our clients and our services and, our brand goals versus Cooking with Kathy. Cooking with Kathy was more light and fun and engaging, and the opportunities were just so different in terms of our goals with content. And so I think between YouTube and Instagram, they were both brand new channels we were launching. So I think they were just kind of blank spaces. They were really test and learn channels to just try new things and kind of see what sticks. And honestly, I still have that mentality today, to be honest. Even in the role I'm in right now, my background coming from the role I'm in today is from the shopper marketing agency side or CPG side. I'm still learning new things in a product marketing role, but I'm carrying the experience I've learned from, other past roles and trying new things in my role today. So I think it's constantly testing and learning no matter how much experience you have. But I think it's important to just try new things and see what sticks. And, if something fails, then you move on and try something else. And what works, you keep doing that and optimizing against that area.
So, I mean, you mentioned a lot of things that you were able to bring forth, but if you were to, from your time here, and I think it's surprising, it really is, because you weren't the first intern we had, but you were one of the first interns we've had. You were, like I said in the intro, you were the first of the latest crop of consistent interns that we had while we established ourselves in Lansing, Michigan. And so, but during that time as a first an intern, which was about a semester's worth of time, and then I was like, I'm not ready to let you go. And you're like, I'm not ready to go. So we figured out some way to have you be more of a part-time person and in that role. What do you feel, and I know you mentioned a little bit, but what do you feel was the biggest strength you were able to cultivate at UnoDeuce to bring it to where you are today?
Wow, that's a great question. I think my ability to try new things. I think I bring a really strategic mindset and being very organized. So I think having plans, but the ability to try new things, explore different trends. I was really passionate about the digital marketing space that at that time, and I still am, which is why I'm in the industry how many years later. So just, being able to test and learn new things, having such a passion for how much it was booming during that time. And again, like I was sharing all the tools available, how new all these platforms were. So it wasn't like you had to have this perfectly curated channel. It was, I think, more of a safe space to try new things, and you didn't have to be perfect or have everything figured out. I think it would just having that passion to try new things and think of different strategies and bring different people along and plans and I think we created some really great content and activations throughout website, social. We really did the gamut from what I recall, from Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, our website. I feel so proud of everything I accomplished at such a young age and what I was able to bring to the table in future roles. It really set me up for success at such a young age, being able to try so many things and being given such free reins to do that.
Yeah, and it's interesting to me as I felt like right off the bat, you broke the mold a little bit because there was such a hunger for knowing more. There was such a this is you I'm talking about. There was such a hunger, and the knowledge base that you accumulated in such a short amount of time, and then you're like, oh well, you can do this and this, and you start here. And I was like, you've already surpassed anything that I've even sat down to do. I just, it was a really cool partnership that we developed, because of the simple fact that it allowed me to know. It was very easy. You always said that I gave you free reign, but it was very easy for me to do that, knowing how you're advancing. And not only that, but just you wanting to know, and you dive deep and on your own, and it was just really, really fabulous. In fact, a couple of things that actually you developed that we still continue or start or moved past. Well, first of all, you developed a marketing plan before you left. That was like a really process driven, very visual way to say, this is what worked. And it wasn't like a nuts and bolts thing where you're like, this is what you have to do. This is what worked, and we used that for years. And so that one was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that. Because like I said, I would go to that all the time. In fact, I would hand that to whoever filled your role after that, which there was only a 2 or 3 that actually did that role after you, but that was a really cool template that you were able to hand off. That was really cool. But the big one, the one that we still continue to this day, and in fact, I know we're recording this now. It'll be way past the time, but we're in the month of April, which has become Deucey Award month, and
Yes.
so which is a huge, huge testament to you, because you're the one that developed it. Talk a little bit about your idea there and how. Just talk about your idea there.
Wow, I'm trying to remember all the way back then. But I mean, from what I can recall from working at UnoDeuce is I remember the passion for your clients, Paul, and I think the love and warmth they had back for you. I think it was such an amazing strategic partnership that you had. And it was, felt less of a business and more kind of like family and friends that you had with your clients. I remember going to Cravings Popcorn or, chatting with other clients that they came by, and, it really felt more, beyond just a business mentality, and, they deserve to be celebrated. So you created so many different types of content and worked with so many different types of businesses. And it really is such a mission driven company to work with clients beyond just, typical corporate types of companies. You really want to give back to nonprofits. And I think it was really important to celebrate them. So I think it was really exciting to do those awards to give back and recognize how much support they gave you and how much you appreciate them back.
Yeah. So, but where was the inspiration for Deucey? Where did that come from? I know the answer, but I want you to say it.
I'm trying honestly to remember. I can call off the top of my head to remember, but obviously it had to do with probably a clever pun on the company name. So,
Well, it was that, but it was also a play on the Dundies
oh,
from The Office. Even though the Dundies was more of a mock of the employees.
yes.
But it was at that time frame.
That probably makes more sense. I was pretty obsessed with The Office during that time frame, so
Well,
that
it's also-
probably tracks during early 2010s.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is like that's one of the more popular episodes, and so, and to be fair, and it's like that it's caught. It's just been amazing to see the response when I do this, and I do it every April. That's become Deucey Award month, and I mean people display this with their other trophies. You go around and they put it out there, and they just it's amazing, and people are competitive about it. Like we have somebody that's a 4-peater, and she's like, "Oh, we're gonna go for 5," and so it's just really amazing to see that how that's grown and how that stemmed just from an idea that you had of, hey, since you give back so much, or you have this this mentality, let's give more eyeballs on these clients and customers that we have. And so that's another takeaway that I had during your time here, which was very brief, to be honest. And we're talking, this is well over a decade ago. And it just blows me away that I love the staying power of this idea, because it's one of our key marketing events that we do each year, and it's become a machine, and we've created it. And I don't know. I mean, you're on your own trajectory. You're on your own path. So what the Deucey Awards end up being, I mean, it's a month long. So, and then at the end we do a whole broadcast that gets launched live, and people we do a reveal. We do a reveal on who wins, and then we do a quick interview with the winners and such, and it's a fun thing. But that's all due to you.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
Well, you've made a really huge impression on the community with that, because like I said, people display those awards, those trophies, along with everything, all the other awards. It's so fun to see where those are. So talk a little bit about, while we have about 5 minutes of time here, so talk a little bit about your path to where you are? Where else did you go? Like when you left UnoDeuce, what happened?
Yeah. So I ended up in Connecticut, where I am now. I had an internship at a shopper marketing agency, and I was hired on full time after. I had that same scrappy mentality of I'm going to hustle. I'm going to bring my ideas to the table. I'm going to show them what I've got, and it worked. And I've been working in the CPG grocery space ever since then at different agencies, working on, major CPG brands. I worked at PepsiCo for a short amount of time. And now I'm working in the ad tech space, which is a different type of area for me, working on more the tech heavy side and working in product marketing. So it's kind of full circle from working on agencies, working for clients, then working for, PepsiCo, working, more for, the brand side, and now working for Kroger. So it's been really exciting to have a lot of diverse roles, all kind of working across, digital marketing, media, the retail space, but it's kept me on my toes, and especially the industry evolving so much, so many new tools, so many things changing. And especially as I mentioned, the pulse of AI right now really kind of changing things so much. But it's been really exciting career journey. I think I've had a lot of diverse experiences, and that's something that's important to me. I don't like to stay bored, and I like to challenge myself, and I like to bring that hunger and perspective to all of my roles. So yeah, I'm still bringing that strategy and A game even today. So
That's great. So what do you do outside of digital marketing? How do you like decompress? What interests you outside of the digital world?
yeah, so I have a 7-year-old mini golden doodle Cooper, who's right next to me sleeping on his bed. I have recently gotten into needle pointing. I love my bar classes, traveling. So yeah, I love going to concerts too, really into music. And I have a trip to Arizona this weekend. I'm going for a week. So
Nice.
yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you again for everything, Alyssa. It's been a pleasure catching up with you and talking about the olden days, as the kids like to say. So, but I appreciate all the work that you've done and put UnoDeuce where it is as we celebrate our 25th year coming soon. So,
Well, congratulations
this year
on 25 years, Paul, and
thank
thank you
you.
for singing all my praises. It was a wonderful partnership we had, and congrats on all your success.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Mission Control. And well, stay tuned in a couple weeks as we talk to our very first employee this next time around, and Paul Henderson. And if you have any questions, you can email us at missioncontrol@unodeuce.com, and you can follow us on all of your podcasting platforms. Thank you again for tuning in, and we will see you again in the Control Center.